Hi friends, welcome to AhiluArts channel. I am Uma. In this video we are going to see a new stitch called feather stitch. Okay, ignore the bubble. That was for my weekly class, online class for the students. This is the one which is called feather stitch. Okay, this is the simple stitch. The only thing, this is exactly the cluster stitch. Okay, we have seen the cluster stitch. I'll share the video link in the description. This is the cluster stitch, but the only thing that is getting different is the stitch where we are putting into the where we are getting the pull through yarn. That is the only difference which makes this beautiful feather pattern. Okay, for this one you can make a blanket, or since this is so puffy on both the sides, you can actually use this for a couch cushion, or you can have a bedspread or a headband. This will be a great pattern for a headband. So let's start doing this. Okay, so I'm going to use this yarn so that you won't be you can able to see the stitches more properly. Okay, so for any pattern that you are doing, you should always have a odd number. The reason is you should have a border stitch, right? End stitch. You should have a end stitch on both the ends. So any pattern you are following should be having a odd number stitch. Okay, so I'm doing 15 stitches. So in order to have a 15 stitch, I have to have 16 foundation chain, right? If you are doing bigger patterns like blanket or bedspread, you have to have a long number of chains, but you have to have a odd number. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16. Okay, I have done 16 chains so that I'll have 15 stitches. You all know we will not work on the either the front loop or back loop of the foundation chain. We'll always work on the back bump of the foundation chain, right? So ignore the first chain. This is not a chain, this is a loop. This is the chain. Okay, ignore the first chain, insert into the second bump and do a half double crochet. Yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is the half double crochet. Okay, another important thing is you don't have to worry about the gauge or the stiffness of the stitch. Okay, you should not have to tighten the stitch anything to follow the pattern. Okay, you can have the stitch as much as wavy or loose as possible, so that it will be forming a perfect feather likewise. Okay, so I am doing half double crochet all through the chain. In all the videos we are saying, because we are working in the back bump, you see the finishing in here. Okay, let me close this. Okay, now you can able to see the finishing, right? So that is why we are working on the back bump. This way you don't have to have a separate border row for any project that you are doing. All right. So we have 15 half double crochet. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. All right, so now here we do this is the foundation row. Now we are going to do the prep row to make space for the feathers. Okay, so if you see here, we are not only working the feather on this current row, but on the previous row also, right? You see the feather has 3 pointy edges, 1, 2 and 3, and the middle pointy edge which is big is on the previous row, not on the current row. So in order to have that, we have to have a prep row, which is nothing but we are doing 1 half double crochet, chain 1, skip the other stitch and do next half double crochet in the third stitch. So this is what we are going to do. Chain 1, skip 1, half double. So when you finish this row, you will be having 8 stitches and 7 chain spaces, because totally we are having only 15 stitches, right? So you don't have to count anything. All you have to do is just a chain 1 and half double, because you may do a different product, right? So now we have 2 stitches remaining and we have 1 chain, and we do the last stitch in the last stitch. This is why we are having odd number stitch. If we have even number, we only have we would have only this stitch. There will be no space for the end stitch. So since we have odd number, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 stitches, 7 chain 1 spaces. Okay, so now chain 1, turn. This is where we are going to do the feather round. Okay, so first we always have a half double crochet, which is the edge stitch, right? Now we are going to form the feather. You see, I told you this is exactly the cluster stitch. Okay, so for cluster stitch, what we'll do, yarn over, insert, yarn over, sorry, I shouldn't have said cluster stitch, but puff stitch. For puff stitch, what we'll do, yarn over, insert, yarn over, insert, yarn over, insert, pull through, and we'll pull through all the loops, right? The same thing we are going to do for feather stitch. The only difference is the stitch we are inserting is different. You see, we have to have yarn over, insert into the chain 1 space, pull through. Okay, make sure it is so loose. Okay, then yarn over. To have the pointy edge, I told you we'll be working on the previous row, not on the current row. So you see, we have skipped a stitch in the previous row, right? So yarn over, you insert into the stitch, pull through. Make sure all the loops you are having are on the same level. Okay, now yarn over, insert, pull through in the next chain space. So now we have 7 loops in the stitch, 7 loops in the stitch, but each one is getting from a different stitches. So I'll do again. Okay, yarn over, insert, pull through in the chain 1, yarn over, insert, pull through in the stitch in the previous row where we have skipped, right? Then yarn over, insert, pull through in the next chain 1 space. So we have 7 loops, then yarn over, pull through all the 7 loops. Okay, in order to secure how we'll do the chain 1 after the puff stitch, we are doing the same chain 1 here also. Okay, so this is how we'll be working on the feather. I'll show you one more time. Now since we have done the first square, we have to use the next 2 chain spaces, the current chain space and the next chain space for the next feather. Okay, so yarn over, insert into the chain 1, pull up, then yarn over, insert into the previous row stitch, pull up, yarn over, insert into the next chain 1, pull up. So we have 7 loops, yarn over and pull through all the 7 loops. Okay, then chain 1. You see our feather is getting its structure. So now yarn over, insert, pull up in the chain 1, yarn over, insert, pull up in the previous stitch, stitch in the previous row where we have skipped, then yarn over, insert, pull up in the next chain space. So yarn over, pull through all the 7 loops, chain 1. You see? So yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert, pull up in the previous row stitch, yarn over, insert, pull up in the next chain 1 space, and pull through all the 7 loops, chain 1. So yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert, pull up in the below stitch. Make sure all the loops are on the same height. Okay, the yarn over, insert, pull up in the next chain space, and pull through all the 3, chain 1. Then now we have in the last 2 chain spaces for the last feather. So yarn over, insert, pull up, yarn over, insert into the previous row stitch, pull up, yarn over, insert into the last chain space, and pull through all the 7 loops, chain 1. Then for the edge stitch, do a half double crochet in the last stitch. You see, let me zoom in. You see, we have done the first feather. So now we have 1 2 3 4 5 6 feathers and the first and last half double crochet, right? So now we are going to work on the chain 1 spaces and the previous row stitch. Okay, now chain 1, turn your work, half double crochet in the first stitch as usual. So see here, you see the chain 1 space in here in the previous row. This is where we'll be working. You will automatically see the chain space in the previous row. Okay, so yarn over, insert into the current chain space, pull up, yarn over, insert into the chain space in the previous row, then yarn over, insert into the next chain space, then pull through all the 7 loops, then chain 1. You see now it is forming a feather structure. Okay, so now the same thing, yarn over, insert into the current chain space, pull up, yarn over, insert into the below chain space, pull up. See, have all the loops in the same level. Okay, it should not be tight or it should not be congested. Okay, then again yarn over, insert, pull up into the next chain space, then pull through all the 7 loops. You see, a small difference from the puff stitch gives a total different look and feel. Okay, so now yarn over, insert, pull up in the current chain, same in the below chain space and in the next chain space, then pull through all the 7 loops. So the reason I am saying the same thing again and again is you may have forwarded the video or you may have paused the video, so you don't know where you left off and where to follow if you start the video another day. So that is why every time I am saying the same pattern. Yarn over, insert into the current chain, insert into the below chain space, yarn over, insert, pull through in the next chain space. Now we have 7 loop, pull through all the 7 loops, then chain 1. Now yarn over, insert, pull through, yarn over into the last chain space and chain 1, and finally a half double crochet. You got it? Now how our feather looks placed, like it will be of a V-like structure, right? We'll do one more row and I'll show you how to do the border. Like we have a single crochet, sorry, half double crochet in the end, right? So like that, how will we end the stitch, okay, in the pattern, okay? Chain 1, half double crochet in the first stitch, yarn over, pull up, and see, now we have the, you can obviously see the chain space in the previous row, okay? So that is where I'm going to insert and pull up, then next chain space, pull through all the 7. Same thing I am doing in the next 2 chain spaces. As I said, you don't have to pull any stitch so tighter. Don't forget the chain 1, because this is the chain 1 where we'll be working the next round, okay? And without the chain 1 we would not be able to follow the maintain the count, okay? We have 15 stitches, so we have to maintain the count all together, right? So pull through all the 7 loops, chain 1, insert, pull up, insert, pull up, insert, then chain 1. Now this is our last feather that we are working. Then chain 1 and 1 half double in the last stitch, right? So how this pattern has sitting in the exact space, right? Now for the last stitch, what we are going to do is, last row, we are just going to do the half double. 1 half double in the first half double, 1 half double in the chain, and 1 in the feather, and 1 in the chain, one in the feather. So finally when you do this, you have to have a 15 stitch what we are maintaining from the beginning, okay? Then only whatever product you are doing, it will be of same size, right? It won't be it will be of perfect rectangle or square on whatever you are doing, right? So insert, so last feather, last chain 1, and last half double. You see how it fits in the pattern, okay? So this is how we are doing the feather pattern, okay? So if you like this video, please share your photos in our Facebook group or Facebook page, or you can tag AhiluArts in the Insta and post your photos in there also. If you like this video, please share it with your friends, comment your suggestions on whatever what else you wanted to do, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and never miss any video. Thank you. Bye bye.